Greetings, seekers of the hidden and the ancient. Welcome to Ancient Chronicles AI, where forgotten worlds, sacred mysteries, and cosmic truths come alive through AI-driven storytelling. Today, we open the gate to explore Atlantis and the pre-flood world. What ancient texts reveal a journey into realms just beyond ordinary sight? Prepare your mind, steady your spirit, and step with me into the unknown. Long before the rise of Egypt's pyramids, before Sumer carved its first cuneiform tablet, before the great civilizations of the world took their first breath, there existed a time spoken of only in fragments. A time before the flood, a time before memory, a time when gods walked among mortals. Ancient texts from every corner of the world whisper of this forgotten age. The Sumerian king list speaks of rulers who lived for thousands of years. The Book of Enoch describes beings of light descending to earth. The Greek philosopher Plato tells of a mighty island empire called Atlantis, destroyed in a single day and night. Hindu scriptures speak of lost continents swallowed by the sea, and indigenous legends across the world recall a great deluge that ended an age of giants and sky beings. These stories are separated by oceans, languages, and millennia, yet they echo the same truth. There was a world before our world, and it ended in water. But what was this world? Who lived in it? And what knowledge did they possess? To answer that, you must journey to the most famous lost civilization of all, Atlantis. The story of Atlantis begins not with myth, but with philosophy. Around 360 BCE, the Greek philosopher Plato wrote two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, in which he described a powerful island civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time. Atlantis was said to lie beyond the Pillars of Heracles, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It was a land of gleaming temples, advanced engineering, vast fleets, and a society that blended divine heritage with human ambition. Plato claimed the Atlanteans were descendants of Poseidon, the god of the sea. They built concentric rings of land and water, creating a city unlike any the world had ever seen. But as their power grew, so did their pride. They turned away from the divine laws. They sought dominion over the world. And the gods responded. In a single day and night of misfortune, Atlantis sank beneath the waves. Plato insisted the story was true, passed down from Egyptian priests to the Greek logographer Solon, then to him. But was it history or a warning? Plato claimed the story of Atlantis came from the priests of Sais, an ancient Egyptian city. According to them, Atlantis was not a myth but a memory, a remnant of a world destroyed by a great flood. Egyptian texts speak of Zep-Tepi, the first time, an age when gods ruled the earth, and a great cataclysm that ended that era. Survivors, they said, carried sacred knowledge into the new world. Some Egyptologists dismiss Zep-Tepi as symbolic, but others believe it refers to a real pre-flood civilization, one that possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and mathematics. The pyramids themselves, aligned with celestial precision, hint at a legacy older than dynastic Egypt. Could Atlantis have been part of this forgotten world? Across the desert, in ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerians recorded their own version of the pre-flood world. The Sumerian king list describes 8 kings who ruled for tens of thousands of years before a great deluge swept the land. After the flood, kingship descended from heaven once more, but human lifespans were drastically shorter. The Sumerians also wrote of the Anunnaki, beings of great knowledge who taught humanity agriculture, writing, and law. Some scholars interpret the Anunnaki as gods, others as mythic ancestors. Some fringe theories even claim they were visitors from beyond Earth. But one thing is clear. The Sumerians believed the world before the flood was fundamentally different, a time of giants, long lives, and divine presence, just like Atlantis. In the ancient Jewish text, known as the Book of Enoch, we find another piece of the puzzle. Enoch describes a time when the Watchers, angelic beings, descended to earth and taught humanity forbidden knowledge, metallurgy, astronomy, enchantments, and the secrets of the heavens. Their union with human women produced the Nephilim, giants of renown, but their interference corrupted the world. Violence spread. Knowledge became weaponized. Humanity lost its innocence. And so, the Creator sent the flood to cleanse the earth. This story mirrors the Atlantean downfall. Divine beings, advanced knowledge, human corruption, and a catastrophic end. Different cultures, same pattern. In the ancient Indian texts, the Puranas and the Mahabharata, we find references to civilizations destroyed by floods and fire. They speak of Kumari Kandam, a lost land south of India; Dwarka, a city swallowed by the sea; Tripura, a flying city destroyed by divine weapons; and Vimanas, aerial craft used in ancient wars. These stories describe a world of advanced technology, cosmic beings, and catastrophic destruction. Again, the pattern repeats. A golden age, a fall, a flood. So what was Atlantis? A myth? A memory? A metaphor? Or all three? According to ancient texts and the whispers of esoteric traditions, Atlantis was not just a city, but a civilization that spanned islands and continents. Its people were said to possess advanced knowledge of energy, mastery of crystal technology, a deep understanding of the Earth's magnetic fields, and spiritual abilities that modern humans have forgotten. Some traditions claim the Atlanteans could communicate telepathically, harness natural forces, travel great distances with ease, and heal with sound and vibration. But as their knowledge grew, so did their arrogance. They turned their gifts toward domination. They experimented with forces they did not fully understand. They fractured the balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. And the earth responded. Ancient texts across cultures describe a global cataclysm. Massive floods, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, a darkened sky, and rising seas that vanished entire continents. Modern geology confirms that around 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, the world experienced sudden climate shifts, rising sea levels, and widespread destruction. This date aligns almost perfectly with Plato's timeline for the fall of Atlantis. Coincidence or confirmation? Some researchers believe a comet impact or solar event triggered the collapse of the pre-flood world. Others believe the Atlanteans themselves caused it through misuse of energy or technology. Whatever the cause, the result was the same. The world before the flood was erased, and a new world began. But Atlantis did not vanish without a trace. Legends speak of survivors, priests, sages, and scholars who fled before the final destruction. They traveled to Egypt, Sumer, the Americas, India, and the Mediterranean. Wherever they went, they carried fragments of Atlantean knowledge, astronomy, sacred geometry, architecture, and spiritual teachings. Some believe these survivors became the builders of the pyramids, the founders of early civilizations, the teachers of ancient mysteries. In this view, Atlantis is not just a lost city. It is the mother of all civilizations. The story of Atlantis is more than just a legend of a sunken island. It is a shared memory, a warning encoded in the DNA of our oldest stories. It tells us that greatness is fragile, that knowledge without wisdom leads to ruin, and that even the most advanced civilizations can be returned to dust. As the final days of Atlantis loomed, a strange calm fell over the land. The skies darkened, the seas grew restless, and the very air felt charged, as if the world was holding its breath. The Atlantean priesthood, sometimes called the Sons of the One Light, saw the coming cataclysm. They gathered their sacred knowledge, star maps, and crystal archives. Their mission wasn't just survival, it was preservation. They divided into 3 groups. One sailed east toward Egypt, another west toward the Americas, and a third journeyed south to what would become the Andes. They believed humanity would one day need their guidance to rebuild, so the Atlantean legacy didn't die. It's scattered across the globe. When the Atlantean survivors reached the Nile Valley, they found a fertile and peaceful land. The people there were receptive to higher knowledge. The Atlanteans taught them how to read the stars, measure the earth, and build with stone, aligning temples with celestial cycles. Over generations, these teachings bloomed into ancient Egyptian civilization. The earliest Egyptian texts speak of a time called Zep Tepi, the first time when gods walked the earth. Some believe these gods were the Atlantean priest kings. Symbols like the Ankh and the winged sun, and even the impossible precision of the pyramids, may be echoes of Atlantean architecture. The second group of survivors sailed west, reaching the shores of Central and South America. They encountered indigenous peoples who had oral traditions of sky beings and sea people, arriving after a great flood. The Atlanteans taught them astronomy, mathematics, sacred geometry, and the calendar system. The result? The rise of incredible civilizations, like the Maya, the Olmec, and the Inca. They built pyramids strikingly similar to those in Egypt, despite being separated by an ocean. Their myths all speak of a white-skinned, bearded teacher who came from across the sea after a great cataclysm, bringing peace and knowledge. The Maya called him Kukulkan, the Aztecs Quetzalcoatl, the Inca Viracocha. Different names, same figure, same story. The third group traveled south into the high mountains of the Andes. There, they built mysterious structures like Tiahuanaco, Humapunku, and Sacsayhuaman. These sites feature stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons, cut with laser-like precision and fitted together without any mortar. Some stones have interlocking shapes so complex that modern engineers struggle to explain how they were made. Local legends say these structures were built by the Shining Ones or the ancient masters. Again, the pattern repeats: a lost civilization, a great flood, and survivors who brought incredible knowledge. What kind of technology did the Atlanteans possess? Legends describe a civilization powered by crystals not for decoration, but as massive energy conductors. They could store information, amplify frequencies, heal the body, and even power machines. Some say a central crystal tower harnessed energy from the earth and the sun, and that its misuse may have led to their downfall. They also mastered sound and vibration, using acoustics to move heavy stones, levitate objects, and even alter consciousness. Their knowledge of the stars was so advanced they understood cosmic energy flows and planetary cycles knowledge we see encoded in the pyramids, Stonehenge, and the Mayan calendar. For them, consciousness itself was a force that could shape reality, and they practiced telepathy, lucid dreaming, and energy healing. So what caused the fall of Atlantis? Plato said the gods punished their arrogance. Geologists point to sudden climate shifts around 12,000 years ago. Some researchers suspect a comet impact. And esoteric traditions claim the Atlanteans misused their crystal technology, destabilizing the Earth's magnetic field. Perhaps it was a combination of all these factors. Whatever the cause, the result was catastrophic. The seas rose, the land sank, and the world was changed forever. But Atlantis wasn't alone. Ancient texts from around the world describe a global pre-flood civilization filled with giants, advanced cities, and cosmic knowledge. The Sumerians called it the antediluvian age, the Hebrews, the days of Noah, the Greeks, the Golden Age. Different names, but the same memory of a world where humanity lived closer to the divine, a world that ended in water. Here's the twist. An Atlantean prophecy says, when the stars return to their ancient positions, and the earth trembles once more, the children of Atlantis shall awaken. Some believe this points to a return of ancient knowledge and a rise in human consciousness. In this view, Atlantis isn't just a lost civilization. It's our future destiny. It's a reminder of what humanity once was and what we can become again. Whether Atlantis was a real island or a powerful myth, its legacy is undeniable. We see its echoes in ancient architecture, global flood stories, and sacred geometry. It's a story of the rise and fall of civilizations, a warning against pride, but also a story of hope. For if Atlantis fell through imbalance, then perhaps humanity can rise again through harmony. Our journey through the unseen now comes to a close, but the mysteries continue to whisper. If this exploration stirred your curiosity, consider liking and subscribing to help this channel grow and unlock even deeper secrets. Until our next passage beyond the veil, stay curious, stay aware, and take care.